Okay, so welcome to Honeybee U to Row. My name is Melissa, and we are coaching with Destinii today. And we are going to do a little follow-up. Destinii is going to report on, what's happened since last week, and then we're going to move into doing a little exploration of her negative or shadow traits using tarot. Okay, so how are you doing, Destinii?
Complicated.
It's complicated. Yeah. Okay, just share whatever you want to share. You can update us. Let us know how you're doing along your journey with coaching. We've kind of talked and said we're getting close to really we've met your goals in a lot of ways. So
yeah.
Just kind of talk.
Yeah, we have. So I've kind of like outlined the things that I want and some of the things that I'm going to need to do in order to get there. I'm just trying to get to the point where I take off, which is, what this whole journey is about, is learning how to take off without thinking about it too much.
Right.
But the
goal was really, our goal together was really that you wanted to understand how your North and South node were impacting your career choices, your career path, kind of all that. So just for right now, we'll do a more extensive kind of look back through this coaching process for you. But for right now, what are you understanding about your North and South node and how they're impacting your?
I'm understanding that it's going to require me to use my intuition a little bit more, and I'm going to need to kind of enjoy the journey, even if there's mistakes and missteps.
Yeah.
I can't let that stop me from doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you understand about that stopping me from doing it part?
Well, I think one of the things, we're going to talk about overthinking here soon, but that's one of the things also that is in my North and South node is is overthinking and overcoming that. So
yeah,
kind of fitting.
That's right. So really, it's even though we've explored some options and some of the things you've actually said, yeah, I'm going to embrace that. Kind of like the creative pieces and the intuitive and doing tarot and all that. What we've really discovered is that it's okay. You're going to take a journey and make it an adventure. And if there's any detours, like, it's okay. We don't have to overthink it. Just take that.
Just keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you want to check in on?
So just over the past week, I did not do the homework. Because life decided to be a hurricane that actually rained cats and dogs.
Oh, wow.
But I'm still here.
But you're still here. That's right. Okay. And sometimes that's how life goes. And it's okay. You don't have to be going full speed ahead. Like I said, just so long as you get back on track, we just have to take care of life, other pieces of our life, and then we can move forward, right? And we don't want to beat up on ourselves if our pace isn't as quick as we would like it to be.
I forget growth's not linear sometimes. Sometimes it's like this.
That's right. Yes, ma'am. That's right. Okay. So we're going to talk about your second part of the wholeness exercise, which is we're going to look at your negative traits or your shadow traits. And, we all have these things that we don't like about ourselves, or that we might have a harsh critical voice that's constantly name calling and kind of bullying us, saying things like, you're so lazy, or, why can't I do XYZ, whatever it is, right? So I wanted you to kind of write down some traits that you find more negative. But also, I explored with you a little bit about another concept in working with the shadow. Okay. And that is, the shadow appears in the places or the people that we reject, we don't like about other people. And when we have an ability to point out like the bad things in someone else, right? Or it's something that really angers us or infuriates us, the shadow is lurking there, right? So we put down for you, why don't you go ahead and give the entire list, and then we'll just pick the 3 that we're going to work on.
Right. So I said overthinker, easily distracted, procrastinator, gives too much, lacks boundaries, fears success, and difficulty expressing needs, feelings. And I think we ended up kind of rephrasing some of those, and I do think kind of multiple of those go into one of the ones that we rephrase about low self-esteem. I think that could cover a lot of those points there.
Yeah. So I think we decided for these particular traits that you worked on, overthinker, we're going to work on overthinker, procrastinator, and low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for sure, overthinker and procrastinator is going to be in that South Node realm, right? It's really speaking to the South Node.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And if you can remember, the wholeness thing is, okay, so we're going to look at things that we think are positive about us, as well as things that we think are negative about us. But the wholeness is, it's all situational. There's nothing's all good and all bad, right? Yeah. So today we're going to pull a card for how these negative traits sometimes work for you, right? Okay. And then when we talked about calling out the things that you don't like in others, what did you say? Do you remember?
I said materialistic, lack of empathy, and I can't remember the other one because I was thinking of them off the top of my head.
Yeah,
so I didn't write it down.
Okay. Yeah, you put lack of empathy, selfishness or self-centeredness, and materialistic. Okay. So how do you feel when you're around someone that lacks empathy?
I'm very angry.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how can you not think about other people?
Okay. And how about self-centeredness?
I think angry too, but also sad. Like a mix of both.
A mix of both. Yeah. Okay. We might, when the cards come up, we might be able to talk a little bit more about that. And materialistic. How do you feel towards?
Annoyed.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of the same annoyed. Yeah, that kind of runs along that same line of a mix of anger and hurt, right? It's kind of with frustration, annoying, irritated. Oh. All right. So
shut up, man.
What's that?
Falling.
Oh,
my camera keeps falling.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Okay. Okay, so you are going to use which deck?
This one is called the Manga Tarot.
Manga Tarot. Okay. Yeah. And you wanted me to use the Light Seers Tarot for extra messages, right? Okay. So let's look at the overthinker. So how do you see that as a negative trait?
It's something that kind of paralyzes me. Like I get stuck in this spiral of overthinking, and I could just be sitting here all day and I won't do something because I'm overthinking too much.
Analysis paralysis.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What does that look or sound like in your life? Overthinking. Like, do you have an example of something that you're overthinking right now? Or have overthought?
Yeah. So, like throughout my days, I'll think, oh, I'd really like to go to the park and go for a walk. And I'll be like, oh, well, it's kind of cold outside. I don't know if I'm going to get there and feel too cold. And what if it rains? And gas prices are pretty high right now. Is it really worth driving 20 minutes to go to the park? And then I'll just keep thinking of all of these things. And then I don't even make it to the park because by the time I'm like, okay, no, I'll go, it's dark. And I don't make it.
Okay. Yeah. So it definitely keeps you from moving forward and moving in,
yeah.
For sure. Okay. So analysis paralysis. All right. All the what if thing. Okay. So let's pull a card for how overthinking, another word might be analyzing, sometimes works for you. Okay. All right.
I think my deck is over analyzing. It won't give me a card.
It won't. Okay.
Okay. We got 4 of Cups. Looks like this.
Okay. 4 of Cups. So what do you see there? It's hard to see the cards really well, but this is about you doing your own intuitive.
Right. It's got a guy sitting against a tree with his eyes closed, and he's got 3 cups at the base of his feet, and then spirit, I guess what I would call spirit, because it's like this person coming out of the clouds is holding a cup out. So in terms of over analyzing, I guess that it would work for me in a way that I can see the benefit of something by thinking about it in a way. Like, yeah, I'm overthinking about the what ifs, but I can also see what good could come of it if I ignore the what ifs.
Oh, okay. If you ignored the what ifs. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. I'm going to add 2 more cards to this story. Okay.
Okay.
What came out over here on this side, I find so interesting, is I hope you can see these clearly. First,
I can. Wow.
yeah, the Knight of Swords. Okay. So he's running towards the motorcycle. I can't remember if you and I have used these cards before or not.
No, we haven't. They're so pretty.
Yeah, they're really cute. They're very modern day.
Yeah, they're very scenic. I love it.
Yeah, I think you would like this deck. Okay, Knight of Swords, but then King of Swords.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
they both have that bird.
They both have the bird. Yeah. So swords energy, as you know, is mental and verbal energy here. Whereas that is cups is your emotional. Okay. So what do you see here? And there's a little owl here.
Okay.
how this
So
might work for you sometimes.
I well, with the owl, that reminds me of, like, owls normally symbolize wisdom. And so in overthinking, sometimes you can gain wisdom in a way because you can see the different options. And that other person is very clearly running towards something and they're not
Mhm.
staying still.
Yeah, and they're
Uh,
not staying still.
yeah. And I think what that kind of brings to me is that you sometimes you only overthink when you have had lots of experiences. Like you're overthinking because of how things have gone in the past and you have taken steps towards something or run towards something, and maybe it doesn't always work out, but you wouldn't have the overthinking thought if you didn't take the leap, if you didn't run towards something.
Uh-huh.
You would have nothing to compare to otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. That is very true. That's very true in your life. We,
Absolutely.
we know that. Um, so then if that's true, we overthink many times because of experiences that we've had in the past, and we maybe are trying to avoid painful experiences, or maybe by overthinking, we're trying to gain like a sense of control.
Mhm.
How could this energy then work for you?
Hmm. That's a tough one to
Use it.
put words to.
Do you mind if I
I don't mind if you give me some help with that because
Yeah. So what's coming up for me, interestingly, is that I think that part of you does have experience, is trying to gain control. It can help you to be more discerning. It can help you to be more wise and move into action when the timing is right, without overthinking, or even coming up with like a practical plan based in your own wisdom, like rather than necessarily just like running, speeding towards the motorcycle and taking off, allowing yourself to take a step back and say, okay, so if I want to do this, I need a practical plan. I don't want to think of all the bad things, although I do have experiences. So based on my experiences, what might I do differently?
Mhm.
If there's anything I could do differently,
That's true.
right?
That
It's
makes a lot of sense. Using it in terms of wisdom instead of seeing it as, well, I'm thinking way too much about this. But sometimes putting thought into things is a good thing. Like there are lots of people who don't think about stuff at all before they do them. And
No,
yeah.
that's right. That's the Knight of Pentacles, or I'm sorry, that's the Knight of Swords energy.
Mhm.
Just goes in, right? And there is a part, the North Node, your Sagittarius North Node, that you do want to be able to move and be moved by being inspired, and move forward intuitively and based on your intuition and spontaneously. That's Sagittarius. I told you that earlier, right? And here we
You said earlier, act
Yeah.
now, think later.
Yes. So act now, and at the same time act based in your wisdom and your experience, and come up with a plan, an action.
Right.
So now we're going back to the South Node, the Gemini South Node. We're not going to overthink,
Yeah.
but we are going to think clearly, wisely,
And practice.
and practically.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I kind of like that.
That makes me appreciate that part of myself a little bit more.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So I'm going to write from wisdom All right. How about, I'm going to put these back in the deck, and let's look at procrastinator. Tell me about the procrastinator. A little bit like an overthinker, maybe.
A little bit. A lot of the times the procrastination, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. And it's less about the overthinking bit. It's more like, I can do this tomorrow. I have these other things that I want to do today that are maybe a little more fun, like put off the hard stuff until tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
That's what that's about. That's like, oh, well, today I want to paint and talk to some friends or play Minecraft with somebody. I'll organize my whole room tomorrow. I'll cook diet food tomorrow. Like, I don't need to do that right now. This fun stuff's hanging around.
Okay. So if we were going to go really negative on it, that we might say is, avoidant.
Yeah, avoidance.
We might say avoidant. But at the same time, interestingly, right? That's very in your Sagittarius North Node. Follow the fun.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
Right? Follow the fun, follow the bliss. Okay. Go out and explore. Let's see, how can that sometimes with the cards, let's see, how can are you kidding? Well, here we go.
What'd you get?
All right. What'd you get?
I got the Queen of Wands, which has got the fire energy over here.
Yes.
Which would be like Sagittarius.
Very much. Very fiery.
Yeah.
Even kind of like Leo. Very
yeah.
Let me ask you what you get. What do you get from that card? So how this procrastinator, I just kind of, girls just want to have fun. How does it sometimes work for you?
Kind of hard to get a lot from this picture because it's just this person looking like a badass. Like she's just holding her spear and she's just looking very fierce. So I don't know, maybe embracing the fun parts isn't always a bad thing. Like, it's good to be able to embrace the good parts of life and have fun.
Absolutely.
There has to be some more balance, but it can also help.
There has to be some more balance, which brings me to the card that I just pulled. You saw me shuffling, right?
Yeah, I did. He came back out.
Yep.
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Yes. For me, this is also like, along with your Four of Cups, like those three cards that came out. I don't think I said this, but for me, there was also something coming up around divine timing and understanding timing. And yes, you're right, balance and wisdom, right? Yeah. But yeah, the Queen, oh my God, the Queen of Wands is a badass. She's very, very confident. She's a bit of a diva sometimes. On the shadow side, she can be a bit of a diva. So, you gotta own that you're passionate, fun, creative, intuitive. She's
follow my heart.
Very intuitive, follow your heart. Absolutely. And balance it out with, some of the more mental energy.
Right. So that I can discern what I can safely avoid today. Like, is putting this off until tomorrow and avoiding this hard thing going to help me or hurt me?
Yeah.
Or right. Is it okay to let that go for now and just focus on the present?
Yeah, absolutely. Making again a practical plan, like using your adult self, which says, absolutely, who wouldn't want to go and and have fun and hang out with your friends. At the same time, if you put off doing this other thing that you know you have to do, then you're going to feel yucky.
Yeah.
So let's do the have tos before the want tos today.
That's true. Yeah.
But then
Parenting yourself, be like, oh, we really need to do this thing we don't want to do so that we appreciate ourselves later for it.
yeah, absolutely. And then there's nothing nagging you, there's nothing on your back. You can't enjoy your good friend time or the fun thing that you want to do.
Right.
At the same time, there are people that they just work, and they're missing out on the joy of life.
Everything. I was actually talking to my mom about that earlier. I was like, I don't understand these people who always talk about what they're going to do when they retire. Like, you're going to wait to live your life until you're 65. What if you don't make it to 65? Why not do it now?
Yeah. So we got to use our wise mind and have a little balance here. Yeah. A little fun, a little work, a little fun, a little work. Okay. Love it. Interesting. Okay. So sometimes works to, how do you want to phrase that for procrastination? How it sometimes works for you?
Got a Discord message. It sometimes works to help me stay present and embrace the fun things in life.
Okay. All right. Love it. I'm sticking this way down in there. In the middle right now.
You better stay in there, mister.
Yeah. And do you want to do self-esteem?
Yeah.
Low self-esteem, or do you want to do boundaries? Lax boundaries. I mean, they go together, right?
Let's do low self-esteem because I feel like that kind of encompasses some of the other things that we were talking about too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we talked a lot before we got on and started recording. We're at our normal time, and I don't want to keep you longer if you don't have the time. Do you have time to go over, or do you? And
I have a little bit of time. Yeah, my next thing that I have isn't until 4, so I've got some time.
Okay.
I haven't eaten yet, but I still have some time.
Okay. Well, just how much more time would you want to go?
I can do like 15 minutes.
Okay. All right. I'll keep my eye on the clock here. Okay. So where do you see, or how does low self-esteem on the negative side kind of show up in your life?
It kind of has me doubt myself in a way, like it covers the boundaries. Like I don't express my boundaries with some like, oh, well, they're not really gonna care about those. My boundaries don't really matter anyway. And with the expressing my feelings and needs, it's the same thing of they don't matter anyway. Like I'm just gonna keep them to myself.
Yeah. Okay. And yes, those things definitely speak to low self-esteem, along with, overthinking, a fear like, oh my gosh, all these bad things could happen and I won't be able to handle it. Some of those questions or thoughts can pop up. So let's see. How could, I hate to say low self-esteem be a positive thing or sometimes work for you. However, if I asked you to come up with one word that would describe low self-esteem in a positive light, what would you say?
I would say humble.
I was just going to say Humility. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's look at how it sometimes works for you. And whoops, that's too big of a stack. Sometimes work. I will tell you, this deck for me is really hard to shuffle.
Yeah, I have a couple of those too that are just so hard to shuffle, especially like this really pretty one I have with like gilded edges. Like for
Yeah.
some reason, the paper is just so thick that it can all kind of get stuck together.
Yes, that's what this one is like for me. And that the cardstock is kind of bent, and I keep trying to get it straight, and it doesn't. It kind of curls back on itself. But all right, let's see. Well, we got quite a few again, but I'm just gonna have to take them. Ooh, all right. A lot going on here. All right, you got.
I got the Ace of Coins, which in this deck.
You got the Ace of Coins. Look at me. I got the Ace too.
Yeah, we both got aces.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Go ahead.
so this one, I don't remember what this is called at the bottom. I know you see it a lot in like Thanksgiving representations. It's a thing that's got everything in it.
Oh, the cornucopia.
The cornucopia, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a
Mm-hmm.
cornucopia with like a lot of different fruits at the bottom. And then the person is just like holding the coin or exploding in the middle. And in terms of low self-esteem, I guess what that would say to me is like, even though I don't think that what I have matters to other people, I do know my qualities. Like I know myself pretty well. Like I've got a cornucopia of things I know about myself, and I can have gratitude for those for myself, even if other people don't see me for who I am. Like I know.
Okay, so low self-esteem can sometimes work for you by, see if you can say that a little bit more succinctly.
To get my brain to work, that would be helpful.
I'm not sure if I was hearing you, if I was following you. Were you saying like it helps you to not concern yourself about what other people think and just worry about what you think?
Yeah, which is weird because low self-esteem is about worrying about what other people think. So for it to be able to help me to not worry about what other people think, I don't know, that's a little weird.
It is, but if I'm hearing you correctly, and if that's where you were going, then that kind of makes sense to me, because the other side of that would be someone who is so over concerned what other people think. They're narcissistic. And we know that narcissists have low self-esteem.
Mhm.
Not everyone with low self-esteem is a narcissist, but they're so extreme that they care more about the image. They care more about what other people think of them
Mm-hmm.
than just owning and being humble.
It's true.
I'm just living my life over here. It doesn't really matter what you think of me, because I'm just living my
I
life.
have,
Oh, you go live your life. I'm going to live and let live.
yeah. Oh no, this is a really complicated one. Like it's hard for me to put into words.
Yes. And this exercise is complicated in
Yeah.
general. Anytime I do this exercise, it is. And now we're adding tarot to the mix and, these images and stuff. So it's,
Well, maybe your perspective will help, and the card that you got might help a little bit. I mean, we
oh,
both got
well,
aces.
I don't know. Let me just tell you, because I got 5 and I'm kind of over here thinking, this is interesting, but it is interesting. And your Ace of Pentacles is also like a new opportunity, right?
Mhm.
It's if you have such a high sense, a narcissistic sense of self and ego and entitlement, right? That's I mean, we already know you have that as one of your shadow traits that you don't like in people.
Yeah.
Right. Then you can get really bound up in one way of thinking, one way of doing, one, right? And it's your way. Whereas with the Ace of Pentacles, it's something new, brand new, that's something new that I can do. And so that's even important for your North Node is, okay, when I feel that it's time to do something different or to become something new or different, I'm okay with that. I don't have to put on this big mask or persona or what have you.
Right.
Right.
There's lots of different ways that I could go with a new opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay. So it's kind of hard for me to show you all the cards at once, but I'll show you
Right.
all really good cards. Interesting. You got the Justice card. Now, when we're thinking about narcissism, look at her. She's got the mirror reflection there.
Yeah, she's looking at herself.
Back at her. Yeah. And so, but for Justice, it really is a card of balance, karma. It's just kind of is what it is. What you put out, you get back. And then we got the High Priestess. Very much about connecting to the transcendent, to your intuition. A higher self, which I think these two going together are pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. Very magical.
Yeah. It's almost like understanding that there's a higher power. There's another realm out there operating. It's not just about me.
Right.
It's not just about me. There's something else here too. There's something else here.
It makes sense because now it's starting, some of the things are starting to process for me. Like, low self-esteem is about not seeing yourself as very important, but sometimes it is a good thing to like realize that you're not the center of the world. Like, you're not the center of the universe. Like, there's a lot of other things that are going on, and sometimes we're not important, and that's not always a bad thing. Like,
no,
it can be a bad thing when you don't express your feelings and your needs to somebody and you hurt yourself. But like, if you're at Starbucks and you feel so entitled that you need to have this item done perfectly and somebody else made a mistake, but you're going to cause a whole scene where, if you realize that you're not the center of the universe, you would have just said, oh, okay, this is fine. I'll take the drink anyway and go.
Right. And you wouldn't take things so personally either.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And to add on to that, look at these two cards. 10 of Cups with the 9 of Cups.
Oh, wow.
So first,
and they
10 of
look
Cups.
very similar.
Yeah, but then the 9 of Cups. So moving from being in community, but also to being sort of following your own wishes and inner joy, right? Because, and what I was going to say is, following up to what you just said, is a lack of concern, or a lack of how do I want to say this? You won't be held back by what other people think if you understand, like, it's just my little life here, and I have a right to take it in any direction I feel like. Like, I'm not going to, I mean, unless you think you want to change the course of the world, but it's going to be this little piece. It becomes very freeing. I have a whole meditation that I do for this particular subject, where you might even try it. And maybe I could even lead you in it in another time. But if you start with your little life, right? In fact, you can use it over a certain subject, like the one that we talked about earlier when we were off camera, this thing that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So allow yourself to see this situation playing out. Granted, it's hurtful, it's disappointing, it's frustrating, it's annoying, right?
Yeah.
But if you can see yourself, close your eyes and visualize this issue, and then slowly allow yourself to kind of pan out, almost like a camera on a film, they start panning out, and the scene, now you're seeing the two people in the situation. You're seeing them from above the house, let's say. Pan out even further, and now you're out into up in the clouds, and then now you pan out and you're up in the universe, we'll say. You just keep slowly panning out.
That is this tiny speck.
A tiny speck. Does it matter? When you can look back from outer space and see the world.
It's one tiny decision situation in a big sea of time.
Yeah, it's one. And at the same time that it can help you to let go and take action, right? Or speak up for yourself, or whatever needs to happen. It also can free you to say, like, I don't know, if I can do this all around my life, it's kind of freeing. Like, who really cares what I'm doing?
That's true.
I mean, I don't
really
know. That's
does care. It is.
It works for me, even starting this channel. Like I told you, I just kind of started it.
That's a very different way of looking at it. I could see it as freeing.
Yeah, very freeing. And then again, I've got the Ace of Pentacles here to mirror you. So freeing to go up after.
Yeah. So low self-esteem could work for me in that it would help me to take myself and life less seriously.
Ooh, okay. To take myself and life less seriously. There you go. Well, Destinii, we were going to do 3 more. We were going to look at the shadow of the things that you kind of reject in others, right? One was lack empathy. The next one was self-centeredness. And then the third one was people who are too materialistic. So I'm going to challenge you to do what we just did today.
It's homework, yeah. And the homework I didn't do before, I can do that as well.
Okay. So we'll follow up with that next time. And um, I think we're really at a point where we've met our goals.
Mhm.
We just have to get you now to start taking those action steps,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
also understanding the right timing,
Mhm.
putting the practical plan in place along with inspired action,
Spontaneity.
spontaneity. Yes, exactly. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being a part of my journey, Destiny. It's
Thank you. I'm happy to be a part of it.
yeah. Oh, great. I'm glad it's been a help as well. Okay. So I'm gonna push pause and
Okay.
let's see.